Hello, people. I am Lee Cole 3. This is Wrestling with the Devil. I'm here with my good friend and partner, Rene. And today, I consider this guy a partner. We met in Boston about a week ago. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We had some fun. And this is the real deal, Joel Davis. Joel, how you doing today?
Yeah, man, I'm pumped up to be on Wrestling with the Devil tonight, live right here with you, Lee Cole the Third and Rene. I heard Rene's parents were big fans of the Flying Frenchman, Rene Goulet, and they named him after Rene Goulet.
Yeah, I'm going with it. Yeah.
And Lee and Lee, man, thanks for the opportunity to have me on here. Let's rock it, man.
We are. We're gonna have fun. Let's see. Okay, we lost some comments. What the hell?
YouTube is going rogue on us, Lee.
No, that sucks. Okay, Steve, how you doing? You just got here. Laura, you're here. There's some other people here too, but I lost the comments.
Yeah, they did disappear. That's kind of weird.
Oh, Mickey Griggs, okay, Constant O'Hara. Constance, I see that you're working. But anyway, okay. So we're just going to have fun. We'll let some people roll in here and see what we get today.
I got a quick question, Lee, if you don't mind. Rene, are you the only person in the United States of America that when you go fishing, you have two pistols on each hip, like the Wild West? I heard you
go. No. If you watch I just keep one with me. And really, it's for the animals, because there's mountain lions and bears out here. Yeah. One of my videos, I show some of the tracks of those, but just one. One's enough.
Yeah, I'm just busting. Lee and I had a great time. And your name came up a few times when he was up in Boston. That's one thing he told me.
So. I grew up in the 80s, and a lot of these 80s babies, we grew up watching Rambo, Arnold Schwarzenegger, listening to rock and roll, and watching wrestling. You know what I mean? So here we are today, still,
the three
to be Rambo.
The three wise bald men.
Okay, and we're purposely going bald today because bald is
beautiful.
It's sexy. Plus, you don't want to see this hairline. It's horrible.
And you know what? You know something? In the 70s, we would be up here with comb overs.
Oh my God!
Comb overs were the big thing in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Well, Bruce Willis is the one that made he was the one that made it really popular. Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
When he started shaving his head, everybody started shaving their head.
Yep.
Buffalo Billy, how you doing? Good to see you. Terry Santiago, Tommy 227. How you doing? It's good to see you here. We're going to get going in a couple minutes. I'm waiting for more people to roll in here. And today we have Joel Davis with us, and Joel is we're going to show some video of Joel wrestling. And Joel wrestled against some really legends. And you know what I was thinking? When you were wrestling Jimmy Snuka, and he looked over at the ring and seen you there, Jimmy Snuka must have said to himself,
"Uh-oh.
My career's over."
I felt that overhand right coming, brother.
That's funny.
You're going to get beat up next time you go to Boston.
No, hey, Lee's a brother.
But seriously, Joe, when you're sitting at home, so how does it happen where you get these matches like that was back in 2001?
Yes.
When they give you a call and they say to you, "Look, we want you to wrestle Jimmy Snuka."
Go ahead. You can finish.
And Jimmy Snuka still got on the ropes, dove off the ropes. He's an older guy. He's more out of shape, but he still looks good for his age.
Well, yeah, it was 2001. He was still in great shape for his age. It was the main event that night. It was the MWF Millennium Wrestling Federation. As a matter of fact, it was for promoter Dan Marotti, and you had done a interview with Dan. He's passed away since.
Yeah,
that was his show. So it was at Superfly Jimmy Snuka. We had the main event that night at the old ECW was running out there in Revere, Massachusetts, at the Wonderland Park. But that took a long time to get to that to that status to get in the ring with those big names. The first few years, you're just getting tossed around a little bit. Once in a while, you get a big name. Once in a while, you just go against somebody, a mediocre. So it took a while. But you never know sometimes you don't know who you're going against. You go in, you see the schedule in the back, and go, I was just happy I never seen fucking Abdullah the Butcher. I'm telling you guys, Abdullah cut everybody up, man. I mean, he had been on a few. I was on NWA, and Abdullah the Butcher was on quite a few of those shows. And I'm going to tell you, gentlemen, I was happy. I was like, oh, good. I don't got Abdullah tonight. I don't got Abdullah because he would cut you up, legit,
with a fork or whatever, right?
The blade. He used a blade.
Let me say hi to Spiro. How you doing, Johnny Noodles? Smokestack Mac. Good to see you, my man. Seymour Scagnetti. I haven't seen you in a while. It's good to see you, Seymour. Elaine, always good to see you. Daniel, good to see you. Kingdom of Son and Marine. Good to see you here, Marine. Thank you for coming.
Kingdom of what? Son of a bitch?
Well, I wanted to show people something. This is only like the very ending of the match. I'm not going to show the whole match, but I'm going to put this up, and guys, and then we'll discuss it after I bring it down. Give me 1 minute.
Those fans wanted to kill me that night.
Okay.
That was a quick clip.
I know. I got to do it over, guys. When I got these clips up, no talking. No talking.
I wasn't.
Okay. So now we're going to have to start this over. Okay. Rene, take over the show while I'm doing this.
All right, well, we got to start off with everybody in there. Could you please hit the like button? No one's asked you to do it. I'm the first. Now he can't get on my ass. Joel, what part of Boston and what area of Boston do you live in? Let everyone know.
Yeah, so I'm south of Boston now. So probably about maybe I'd say 1 hour, 90 minutes south of Boston, underneath Bridgewater, that area there. That's where I'm staying. I'm going back and forth to New York. And that's really where I'm residing now. I'm a stand-up comedian, as you know, so I'm doing some travel. Sometimes I'll stay a few nights in New York or wherever I might be. Connecticut, I go to state of Connecticut. I do the casinos in Connecticut, the Mohegan Sun Casino. So it just depends. But I'm mostly down here. This is where I usually am, south of Boston, Massachusetts.
So when you do your comedy on most of it's done on the East Coast, do you see a different crowd when it's cold out compared to where it's hot out? Like, do people get more angry on a cold weather comedy show and heckle you sometimes? Or
they're angry. The weather really don't matter, Rene. They're angry all the time. It depends on when they put me up, Rene, on the schedule. If there's 10 comedians and you're 7, 8, 9, or 10, you're going to get a bunch of drunks. They're going to be yelling shit at you. Don't matter if the weather's good, bad, or it doesn't matter. Because they're sauced by that time.
I have a lot of friends on the East Coast. I have a friend in New Hampshire. He's like, once the Bud Light starts flowing, it's over. Like,
yeah. And once you break the seal, you know where you're going, to and from the bathroom. And then when you're listening to a comedian, you're yelling out, obscenities and whatever have you. So the weather has nothing to do with it.
I got a call from Lee when he was driving in the rental car, and he's like, the people out here are unbelievably rude. I used to live out here, but they're more angry than ever. And
we got this?
Oh, go ahead.
Here we go, guys. Let me start this up again.
All right.
And this is Joel wrestling Jimmy Snuka. I'm going to show you a couple minutes of this. Okay, so let me ask you about that.
Whoa.
When you're laying there, and Jimmy Snuka looks like he's about 20 pounds over more than this. Remember how sleek and muscular he was? It's obvious. How old is he there, would you say?
Probably about 60 years old.
60?
I'd say 60, 58, 60, 62. I mean, I'm guessing.
Wow.
I don't. Well, 2001. How old was he when he died? I don't know.
And so he's still getting on those ropes and doing that stuff. And
yeah, he was still in great shape, but he was pushing 60. Yeah.
So do you get, when you're laying there in the mat and you know that he's going to come off and do that and splash on you like that, are you a little nervous?
Well, yeah, you're going to get hit. I don't be nervous, but you're getting ready. You're gonna have both your left and your right arm up in a position like this to try to take some of that force, because right there he had to be 270, 265, 270 pounds.
Yeah,
I'm over 6 foot tall. So when he hit me with that, I mean, believe me, my ribs were bruised legitimately. There's no holding back on something like that.
Now, when you're in the locker, when you're in the back before you come out, do you and him discuss the match?
It depends on who you're working with, but in that particular match, it was really not much to discuss. He just said, "Brother, don't worry about it, brother. I'm gonna hit you with the superfly, brother."
Oh, he said that.
That's all he said to me. It's all he said to me, and I said, "Okay, Jimmy." And the funny thing is, right before the match, where he was way in the back of the locker room, and I spoke to him very briefly. That's all he really said to me. One of the concession people came in with a tray. Those plastic trays that hold like bread, like all kinds of. Yeah. And it was like 24 draft beers in the tray. And this concession guy comes out to the back. He said, Jimmy Snuka. And he brought all the beers to Jimmy. So when Jimmy was speaking to me, Jimmy says to me, he says, "Have a beer, brother." I said, "Jimmy, I don't drink before I get in the ring." He said, "Have a beer, brother."
You better have a beer.
And I had one.
Yeah, Roddy Piper.
He had to drink, not to cut you off, Rene, he had to drink at least 12, 14, but he was giving beers to everybody.
Yeah.
Now, so Joel, if I am correct, you went to school for wrestling under a very famous guy, Killer Kowalski.
That's true.
Tell us what year you started there and what that was like training there, and tell us some of the people that were training with you also.
Yeah.
At that same time.
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah. So I started looking into Kowalski's in late 1990. In 1991, February 5th, 1991, I paid $1,500 to Walter Kowalski to train in his school of pro wrestling, which was in Malden, Massachusetts, on like the 8th floor. It was a boxing ring, and there was a room next to the boxing ring that was for weights, lifting weights. You could lift weights in there. So when I started up with Walter, he was training 4 nights a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sundays. You'd go up it was 2 hours to 3 hours each night or afternoon. And when I came in, one of the first pro wrestler that I met that actually shook my hand when I come up, I was 21 years old at the time in 1991. And one of my first nights training with Killer was Perry Saturn. Perry Saturn, who was part of the Eliminators with John Cronus. And this is way before he made it, and et cetera, et cetera. He said hello to me, and he was training at the same time. Also, Paul Levesque was training. The Triple H was there, but didn't have many words. He'd stay in his little area, really wouldn't talk to anybody besides Walter.
So what did you like Triple H or?
Well, I never really got to know him personally, but he was a little before me, but he was still training in 91. He got in, I believe he started in 1990, but he was still in that gymnasium in the ring same time I was there. So wasn't Joni Laura. Chyna was there too. Very nice lady.
Were they together at that time?
I don't know for sure if they were a couple at the time, but they were very friendly together.
Now, when you met Triple H, if someone said to you, well, down the road, he's going to be running the WWE and be in the position he's in, and he's going to tap the boss's daughter to marry her and give her a bunch of little bunnies. What would you have said?
I wouldn't. I don't think I'd believe that. I don't think that would happen. You know, you knew he was going to be somebody because he had the height. He was a blonde, and let's be honest.
And he was muscular too at that time.
He was muscular too. He was muscular. He had the height. McMahon likes blondes. If you think about it, Steve Austin, was a natural blonde himself. Hulk Hogan was a blonde. Shawn Michaels was a blonde. Yeah, and of course Triple H was a blonde. And and that was his favorite type of physique and look on a pro wrestler. So I knew he was going to make it. And Walter pushed him. Walter pushed him and got him in. Got him in with the big leagues.
And so when people got into that, did everybody have to pay Killer Kowalski, or did other people like sponsor certain guys to go there?
Everybody at 1991 was paying $1,500, and it had to be cash.
And how long did it last?
The membership was for a lifetime.
Oh wow!
Yep.
So how many members did Killer Kowalski have there?
When I was in there in 1991, like I said, there was probably at that time 16 to 20 of us. But not all big names. A lot of guys never really made it past 2 or 3 months. I myself, the third month I was in, my left ankle got broken in a vertical suplex. Oh man! So I did come back, but Walter was surprised that I came back because a lot of guys wouldn't come back after that. There was quite a few that never really even made a debut, Lee, to be honest with you. Walter, what he promised you was one match under the IWF banner, International Wrestling Federation. He would promise you one match once you were ready. I never got that match.
Was he connected in any ways to the WWF at that time, Vince McMahon?
Yeah.
Would he go to Vince McMahon and say, "Hey, look, I got someone I think is going to really go over"?
He was connected with McMahon. Walter was working with McMahon, and what he would do is he'd send them jobbers, enhancement guys to put over the big names. And guys like Tony Roy was there, Tim McNeely was there. Those are two that come to mind that were training at the same time I was in 91 that got sent right to Walter, and Walter would send them to McMahon. McMahon would use them as enhancement talent.
Okay. Well, I like your story because it's very interesting, because people don't realize you have the same story as a lot of guys that were trying to come up in the business, and it's not that easy, is it?
No, it's not that easy at all coming up in the business, and it's not always about your talent or how hard you work at your skill and your trade. It doesn't always go by how talented you are. Trust and believe it. I know, because I was there.
Now, when you say a lot of times it have something just to do with a guy's looks, he could suck at wrestling. Give me an example of someone you thought that sucked at wrestling and became a big star.
You want me to give you an example of who I thought?
Yeah,
I mean, I got a couple names right off the bat for you.
Go for it. We want to know.
I think Christian sucks. I think Edge sucked. I just think they were, again, tall blondes, and they got a push. Those two come to mind at first. I think they both sucked. They both blew. They probably blew legitimate, like
blew each other.
I don't know. I don't want to say anything negative, but I'm just saying those guys. How did those guys really make it? I mean, what did they? I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. But
now, to Killer Kowalski, I was reading that he had some situations himself, the way he was toward people. Is that true?
What do you mean?
Sexual shit.
No, I've never seen that.
No, not toward any of his woman wrestlers or anything like that.
No, I've never seen nothing like that.
I heard a good story on him, but I'm not going to tell. You were there. If you say it's not true, I'm not going to bring the story up.
Oh, well, I'm just saying, Lee, I didn't personally see it. I know he had his favorites. Paul was his favorite right from the beginning. He liked Paul. He liked Joni, Chyna. I mean, he had another female that was from a different country that would be at training a few nights. I can't remember her name, but she was a very good looking woman, much younger than Walter. And she would be at the training, up at the ring, those evenings we're training. She'd be there with Walter. I don't know. I know it wasn't his wife.
I got something I'm going to read. Steve Rollin, he's a regular on here, and he's a member, and he's a good guy, and he's very when he disagrees with me, he'll say it. And he disagrees with you. He goes, bullshit. Christian was the shit. Edge and Christian were the shit. The best next to the Hardy Boys. Would you agree with that?
Christian was the shits.
Hey, everyone has the right to their opinion. You wrestled with him, so I'm sure your opinion is pretty valid.
So when you were learning in the rings and stuff, was there some people? Just tell us who was like stiff and tough to wrestle or train with because they didn't know how to move their body and stuff.
You mean training, or when I was actually on the circuits?
No. Well, we'll start with when you were training. You came up with a really good group of guys.
Yeah, I did. Actually.
You know, a lot of those guys went on to become stars. But before we say that, I'm going to ask you a question. Why do you think you didn't become a star? Because from what I understand, you were considered very good at your craft. You think it was because of the injury?
Well, the injury was about 3 months in. You know, the left ankle was broken, but I did come back immediately. I had some martial arts background and some conventional boxing background. This is way before that when I got into MMA, but I had that. And Walter had asked me a few times, "Do you have martial arts?" I said, "I have some martial arts." And he it seemed like he took an interest in me, but he told me to wait. I wasn't needed. I asked about the WWF, of course, and he had said that I wasn't wanted. And I said, "Hey," I says, "Okay."
And that's another story that we're not going to cover right now. That could be something that's covered down the road. But I do know that story, and we're just going to leave that alone right now.
Yeah, Lee. So what ended up happening was he thought that he wanted me to stay a little longer, in training before I would debut. I never got my match with Kowalski. So he would give everyone the IWF one match. But what happened though, this is a shoot, and I've never mentioned this on any interview or podcast, and I've not spoke to anybody about this. But I believe the main reason why I wasn't given that opportunity was he was trying to put me in a mixed tag at the time. So he would put a male and a female together versus a male and a female. And he used guys like Snooky Fink. And I know a few of these guys that were about my height because, 5'6", 5'7", 5'8", because Walter liked tall wrestlers. He didn't like the guys like me. He'd make comments because he was a tall guy himself, so. But I didn't take that match.
Okay, so in 92, did you start getting small matches, or did you move away from wrestling for a while?
Well, October 25th, 91, I debuted for IWCCW. That was World Class Championship Wrestling down in Texas with the Von Erich brothers and the Freebirds, and ICW, which was the Savoldis up here in Parsippany, New Jersey. ICW, International Championship Wrestling. They merged together. And they had Kevin.
Who were some of the guys you wrestled in Texas?
Well, I didn't actually wrestle in Texas, but World Class was with ICW, so they were based out of Pennsylvania. So I was up in the Northeast, doing television with IWCCW. I can tell you my debut. Kevin Sullivan, God rest his soul, was on the show. Kevin Sullivan went against Coco Beware the Birdman. Taz was on the card, Tasmania.
People say that Coco Beware was very tough, like out of the ring.
Like a tough. Well, it seemed like he was a pretty tough guy. I didn't, I never scrapped with the guy. I mean, I've been in some fights in the back, but not with Coco.
Tell us a wrestler you had a fight with that people might know, or someone that came close to having a fight with you. Give us an instance.
Well, I mean, I got into one fight in the locker room up in Salisbury Beach, Massachusetts. It was New England Pro Wrestling up there, ran by Callahan and Big City Mike, who's passed away. They ran an organization up there, Indie League, and it was in Salisbury Beach. And there was a referee, a big. Do you want me to drop the name?
Yes.
Okay, I'll drop it.
Drop it. We like dropping.
Only because this is the #1 podcast.
We drop everything here. We don't hold no fucking secret.
Okay, so there was that fucking guy Billy Silverman, that rubberneck WCW referee.
WCW.
You know who he is?
Yes.
I know who he is.
Yep.
He's a tall, thin guy. If you put a wig on him, he look like a chick.
Okay. I'm gonna read this real quick. DVE. What are Marshall? I don't know. Joking. Oh, good to see a new face on the show. His face ain't that new. He's over 50. DVE.
Just barely. I'm kind of new.
But thank you.
I shaved with Noxzema.
I'm going to say hi to a few people that came in. Jovilles, how you doing? Good to see you. Tommy. Let's see. Laura Rock, I said hi. Cam Dutchy, how you doing? Christopher Reed, Italian Stallion, always good to see you. Johnny Noodles, of course, it's good to see you. Steve says, okay, I'm down to that remark right there. You know, it's funny though. Why do you think Edge and Christian had such huge careers?
Before I get to that question, I just want to rewind to the Silverman incident. My fight wasn't with Billy Silverman. That's okay. My fight wasn't with Billy Silverman, gentlemen, and viewing audience tonight here on Wrestling with the Devil. My fight was with Dr. Dice. This guy was a pretty big dude. He was an EMT, and his first name was Dave. He was very good friends with Silverman. Silverman said something to me in the locker room that was inappropriate. So I grabbed Silverman by his neck and picked him up on the wall and told him, listen, you fucker, you don't know who you're fucking with. And I choked him a little bit. It's a little bit. And as I was doing this with one hand, as I was doing this, I got popped in the back of my head by this Dr. Dice there. So I grabbed him, threw him against the wall, and then with a little bit of a fight there, guys like Tony Atlas was in the locker room, Steamboat, and they broke it up.
Tony Atlas always seems, wherever shit breaks out, if you look over your shoulder, there's Tony Atlas.
Yeah, man.
If someone's being murdered in Puerto Rico, there's Tony Atlas.
He's a legit guy, though. I mean, Tony Atlas would tell us stories in the locker room, guys. You wouldn't believe it. He was telling us that when he was 10, 11, 12 years old, Tony Atlas told us more than once in the locker room that his dad would bring him to the railroad tracks and he'd fight for money. Adults. I've never heard that story. Atlas,
I can believe that.
Atlas is legit, and he's a good guy. Tony's a good guy.
Oh, so he's everywhere. It's like Forrest Gump, man. He's like right behind the bushes in JFK. Yeah. Tony's everywhere.
Yeah, he is everywhere.
There's Tony Atlas. Look, Yankee game, 76.
Yeah.
Yard Ape 99. How you doing, my man? Okay, DVE, that was a joke regarding the Boston accent. Hey, listen, he has a Boston accent. I'm going to tell you. So, okay, I'm going to tell you how I met you. So what happened is we were on a set. I can't tell you what kind of set it was, but there were cameras and stuff. And that's the first time I met him. And when I met him, I said, damn, this dude's cock diesel. You know, built like a shit brick house. And right away, we got along, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Listen, Lee, we got along right away. But the only thing is I'm surprised we didn't die because you drove around the entire time with no lights on.
Lee's that guy you flash your lights at him to turn the lights on, and he's like, whatever, don't flash your lights at me.
So okay, so we'll make fun of each other now. This is good. So I meet him, and then we go back to the hotel. There's a couple other guys with us, and then Joel says, "Hey Lee, you want to go out?" So I said, "Okay." I haven't been out in a long time. I don't drink, so I'm not fun to be out with. So we went to a bar. We drove around looking for a bar, and I spent a half hour driving in the dark with no lights.
Yeah, I finally said, Lee, do you have your lights on? He said, oh, fuck, no, I don't. But didn't you get pulled over by the cops the next day?
I didn't get pulled over, no.
I thought you got pulled over or something. Well, you had the one guy with us, the one guy that was taking a photo of you and I, but instead he was taking a picture of himself.
Bunch of fucking boomers, man.
I mean, this guy. I said, Lee. He's not the. He shows Lee the camera, the phone rather, and it's a picture of himself just like this.
Look, Lee, Seymour Scagnetti says Lee has special glasses. He doesn't need headlights.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so we go to the bar, and we have another guy with us, and I hope you're watching right now. So we're having a good time, but one of the guys that came with us and says, "Well, I only got $2."
Yeah.
There's always that guy. When does that end?
How do you only have $2? But listen, and then he ended up having $3 on him.
Yeah, but he wind up. So I said I'd treat him. He wind up having a couple big beers, and he even had I got a plate of food, and I started eating it. And then I stopped, and he goes, I said, "You want some? You're not." He goes, "I'm not hungry." Next thing I know, he ate 3/4 of the plate.
Oh, his paw is just on your shit. Just...
And so I'm sitting there.
He said he wasn't hungry, but he was chowing.
Yeah, he was.
That's hella funny.
He's a great guy too. The guy we're talking about.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. So what's funny though is Joel had his first beer, and people, if you're with somebody and they have their first beer, and all of a sudden you see their personality change.
Oh, come on, man. My personality.
So there's a group of girls behind him, and then he says, "Fuck." And I'm thinking to myself, do you think those college girls know anything about fuck? Why are you saying it out loud? And so this is where I become an old geezer nerd.
Very old. Very old.
And then Joel is like the cool guy. Okay, so we eventually left. And then when we got back to the hotel,
Part 2.
Okay, so one of the producer of the show's there, and he calls me on her phone to come down to the bar. So I think he's fucking with me, and I tell him no. And so it turned out that everybody was down in the bar having a good night, and because Joel kind of psyched me out that night, I didn't go down with them. But everybody was there but me having a good time. Thank you, Joel.
Hey, it's not my fault, man. You thought it was a rib.
I thought you were busting my chops because
it wasn't even me on the phone. It was the producer and someone else.
Yeah, Lee turned on Matlock, and that was the end of his fucking night.
And then we had another guy. Tell a story about he just had socks on.
What?
That was funny. Remember? We called this one guy and you asked him if he was naked. He goes, "No, I got socks on."
no, I didn't ask him if he was naked.
I'm using that. That's a good one.
This is what Lee started, and we all used the same statement that Lee started. He started this like right away, like as soon as we all started like hanging out earlier in the day, not even at the evening, but it went into the evening. His thing was. He says, just ask them what they're wearing. What are you wearing right now? So people, we were asking everyone, like, because Lee started that. So I text the guy at the end of the night. We all had a few drinks. Everybody had a few drinks, Rene.
Except me.
Because they didn't have your Bud Light. You were ready to pop one.
Yeah, I wanted Bud Light. And this place only had the Boston. They got fancy beer. They don't got real beer. I said, I want a fucking real beer. Where's the Budweiser?
That place was fucking loud too, man. That's why I had to talk loud. You had that guy.
No, you were the loudest person in there, dude.
The guy with no money that was eating your food was not even saying shit.
Oh,
you were like old Grandpa Lee. Hey, come on, don't be so loud. I'm like, Lee, I just said fuck. You're like, this lady's behind you.
Oh Lord.
and then I go take a piss. Now I go take a piss. Right, we all pay our tabs, right? Lee ends up being a nice guy and pays for fucking $2 Willie. And I have to go in the bathroom. I come back out. No one's there. There's Lee in the freaking car. No lights on, no headlights, just sitting in the car, ready to go.
Here's why. I had to park the car way up a hill. And so I wanted to get out before them because I wanted to dip up that hill. And you know what's funny? I had no trouble. The hill was easy to go up. And that was it. But we were waiting outside, and you were the last. And it was a good time, people. It was a good time. But you know something? I become that old guy you do not want to go out with.
And then I want to make one more statement that I think you both get a kick out of. And Renee's going to like this too. So we're sitting down, and the next morning we're having the breakfast, right? We're sitting there, and there's 4 of us at this time.
Look who's here, Socks.
All right.
Sean's here. So, hey, Socks, what's up going on?
So he knows this story. So we're all sitting there at the table, and I says to the guy across from me, I said, now listen, you're driving with Lee. You got to drive with Lee. I'm driving with him. Lee says, see, you got to fucking say it. We already established that he's driving with me. You got your arms crossed, and you're telling him.
Then I explained to him that me and him could not spend much time together because we you know how people we're control freaks.
I don't know if I don't
Yeah, you're a control freak. Okay.
I don't think
cut
so.
the shit. Come on.
Talk for
I
yourself.
think all three of us are.
Yeah.
I think we just.
Well, I don't like to hang out with anybody. I like to hang out with people that Renee's the same way. So, people that can actually think.
Yeah,
You gotta
and
speak up
tell
for
you
yourself.
and tell you what's on their mind without a filter. That's probably why we all
Hey,
get
hey,
along.
Sean, I'm going to drop you a link. Click on it. I'm hoping that you can get Sean wants to come on.
Sean wants to come on.
I could have dropped the link, Lee.
Renee knows how to do that. You taught him
Yeah.
last week.
I know, right? He just doesn't let
Hey,
me
did you
do
tell,
anything.
tell Renee the story about when you were yelling at James?
Oh Lord!
I want to share that with Renee. So I was watching the podcast way back, right, Renee?
Wait, one second. Sean, click on that and hopefully you can get on.
Go ahead, Joel.
So I was watching the podcast. I don't think you were on that night, Renee. You might have been. And James was on, and Lee's yelling at him. Like, he's like, James, are you paying attention? Because you know how James gets a little like
Yeah, he'll be on his computer screen for a minute. Yeah.
But he was like, I don't know if he was
He's paying attention. He's just doing stuff.
No, James is paying attention. He just wanted What A Day Joe to shut the fuck up.
Well, this is way before What A Day.
I would like to get in the conversation.
This is way before that fucking numbnuts. Numbnuts Joe, whatever his name is. It's way before that.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
Lee's yelling.
Oh my God, this is awesome.
James, are you paying attention, James? And I'm sitting on it was late. It was because fucking Lee goes like 3.5 fucking hours.
Yeah.
So it was like 11 o'clock at night. I'm dozing off. And so Lee's yelling, James, are you paying attention? I popped up. Yeah. I thought.
So basically,
that's great.
And people, let me explain something to you that Boston is a very nice place, right? And he was telling me that he's making fun of me driving in Boston. Let me tell you something. I've been driving in little backwater Texas now for like 5-6 years.
Yeah, 2 lane
I haven't
roads.
drove in no cities in a long time. Maybe
Yeah.
Dallas. And Boston's a whole different ballgame because the hotel we were staying in was dead between 4 colleges.
Yeah.
It was by Cambridge, by Harvard. It was by Boston University. All the universities are around there. Yeah. And those little kids, man, they'll just pull right out in front of you. So,
yeah, and I was telling you too, not only do you have the college kids, you've got all the roundabouts, the one-way streets. I drove a cab in San Francisco and they made us watch a video on Boston because they have the same guy that designed the one-way streets and all that in San Francisco. In Boston, they told us the most dangerous city in America, 30 years in a row to drive in. So
that's funny though, Renee, that Lee's complaining about the driving, but he takes the other guy on a fucking hour tour of Boston.
He turns his lights off.
Then you saw all those Asians on bicycles, and then all of a sudden you started talking about Asian whatever, I'm like, and then you got
Asians on bicycles, and the guy that was with us was talking, was saying that
this is going south, guys. I'm out of here.
He said they were transgender Asians.
Oh God! Hey, I identify as I don't know, a Prius. Who knows? You can identify as anything now, right?
Yeah. Well, listen, people, it was a good time. I just want to let you know that. And I want to play, I promise you, first before we play that.
Gonna play some comedy?
Okay, people, I just want you guys to see I went to see my brother's grave. And it was the first time I seen Tom's grave since he committed suicide. I just want to show you this. Some of you may have seen it, but these are for the people that didn't see it. People, this is why I do what I do with the wrestling and everything. People might think I'm crazy at times and think that maybe I'm a little addicted and go a little bit too far. But right here, it's my brother Tom. Tom died on February 12th, 2021, took his life. And when you see these stones right here, Tommy, Jen,
Allie, Jewel, and Noel. This right here is his daughters. And they miss their father. Just like I miss my brother. I love you, Tom. I miss you.
Well, we're laughing. We're getting to something more serious. People, if you have any issues, if you're thinking about hurting yourself, please reach out and talk to somebody. Because I didn't consider that until I was there. I looked at it different. I couldn't go to his funeral because there was a lot of, I don't want to get into it, but just being there, I'm glad I did that. And, he lives on the other side of the country. He lived on the other side of the country. So people, I just wanted you to see that. And it's like I said, if you're thinking about hurting yourself, anything like that. So when I got back, I opened up my email and there were a bunch of people who were like threatening to kill me. You got to see some of these emails, people. I think next show, I'm going to bring out the emails and you guys writing me that stuff with your names. These are the guys that want Vince McMahon to plug them in the behind. But anyway, I put this up today. I got so many responses on it. I was kind of surprised. Hey, people, I've been getting a lot of threats lately, and I've been told that I need to get out of the wrestling genre. I've been told I need to stop writing negative things, literally threats coming in here. So I've been thinking about this, what's best for me to do. And I'm just going to be honest with you people. I love the wrestling genre and everything, but I'm not going anywhere. Okay? For those people threatening me, I could say this very nicely. You can kiss my ass. The more you hate me, haters, I like haters. Everybody needs haters. So continue to hate me. Continue to threaten me because of your boy Vince. Well, if you love to be on board with perverts, demented, twisted men like Vince McMahon, you go right ahead. But I am not going anywhere. I'm only going to get worse. Take care, people. Bye. And see, I believe people, when someone attacks you, what you do is you do not run from it. You get worse.
Yep. Nip it in the bud right away, because if you don't, it grows. Run. Yep. They get confidence if you don't do it right away. I live by that. Hell yeah. Oh, wow. It's Sean.
It took me a while.
Sean, how you doing? It's good to see you. I thought you were going to come on with just your socks.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, real funny. So Sean was hanging out with us in Boston. So it was a nice thing. Now you know that. We all decided we were all like on other parts of the country, and we said, where can we go? Boston.
Yeah, I don't know how they picked Boston, but
I like when in the comment section when Lee was posting pictures, someone commented, they got strong chairs in there.
Oh,
that shit made me laugh, man. I'm over 200 pounds, so I feel it.
Yeah. I seen that too. That was funny.
That was fucking funny. I'm sorry. I laughed really hard.
That's funny.
So you glad to get home, Sean?
Yeah, it was all right. I could have stayed a couple more days. I wasn't fortunate to do that like you.
Oh yeah. I actually got to stay 2 extra days, which was really nice, and it was just really nice. It was really nice meeting guys. Like, I thought you were just some boring dude, Sean. I thought you were just like boring.
Thanks.
And then I realized you weren't. I thought that Joel was gay. I realized he wasn't.
His hopes were fucking crushed, Joel.
Yes.
well, yeah. He Joel has that personality that everybody loves.
All right.
Yeah.
And Lee, you actually
Lee missed out because had he decided to come down from the hotel room and hang out with all of us, it would have been fun.
No,
even the producer, even though he thought, we were all playing a joke, it was her that decided to call you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I didn't recognize the number. I should have, because I've seen the number 1,000 times, and it's because Joel Davis.
Well, it was me that was talking. It was Joel and me talking.
See, I didn't think it was you, because I said this guy sounds too happy. That's
well, he was happy.
There's no way.
Anytime you get to sit next to her, that makes you happy.
Oh God, I hope she's not watching that now. Oh, okay. I sent her. I said we're going to be doing a show tonight. I hope you watch.
Oh well.
I know
if she comments, it's okay.
Bobby,
the whole group was.
Hey, Lee, it's all right.
Oh,
they all came down.
Bobby F wants to know, Joel Davis, can you? Oh God, why are you doing this, Bobby? Joel Davis, can you talk about the time you were on the Jerry Springer show?
Oh my God. Yo, that was pretty good hair.
Well, they call it a mullet back then.
Yes, they did.
There was a
As
time
we
for
know, Joel was a professional Jerry. So most of that stuff on Jerry Springer was all fake, right, Joe?
Hey, listen, I was on the show twice, okay? And it was Secret Lovers Tell All was the first one. The second one was Steve Can't Stop Me. My ex-girlfriend that I was with for 6 months that I was living with left me for some punky guy, some punk, and she left us both. She was banging us both, and she was banging this big guy, about 389 pounds, and she left us both, and we found out on the show. That's all I can tell you. I asked the big fat guy, I said, his name was Pete. I said, Pete, when's the last time you seen your penis?
You know? He was like 1976. Reggie played for the Orioles at the time. I remember.
Tom, my brother Tom used to say, Lee, you got a shed over your penis.
Oh, don't start this shit. As soon as Lee starts talking about penises, it's all over.
We're going to be talking about bathhouses and all kind of Harvey Milk shit. It's coming.
Oh shit!
Sean,
no P. Diddy stuff.
Sean, did you
1,000 bottles of lube, huh?
Yeah, Sean, did you ever think you'd show up and you would have the most hair?
Because no one else has any hair. That's what it is.
John.
Johnny Noodle said that the owner crossed the Springers when Chicky sat down.
Those are made of oak, right? With the lining of steel. Okay.
Hey, do me a favor, take over the show for a minute, Renee. I'll be right.
Yeah.
I just got to find something real quick.
See what happens.
Yeah, look at that. Hey, with Joel, what did you think of Chicky when Chicky was there? Was he a funny guy? Like I assume he's a funny guy.
No, he didn't. Joel didn't meet Chicky.
He didn't eat with you guys that day?
No. That was separate. I went down. Chicky and
you're just schmoozing along, huh?
They called me to come down to the North End. And
okay.
Yeah, and it's funny.
Yeah,
when I sent the video. I sent the video to Joey Merlino, and Joey Merlino ate at that restaurant several times. And one of the guys that was at that table was just on Joey Merlino's show.
Yeah, the guy in the right corner. Yeah.
And that guy did 16 years in prison. So he was definitely none of those guys there were joke.
Yeah.
I mean, Damien and that guy, none of them were jokes.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you try to find Lee when you're up there. Where's he go? Oh, he went out already. Okay. But he wanted to meet up, but he was always gone.
He's tough to catch, man.
He is.
Well, I wanted to go down to Harvard Square, and I'm going to put some video up. I shot some really good video of Harvard Square and stuff. That's kind of crazy down there too. But
Boston's crazy driving anyway. I don't think I want to drive in Boston anymore.
Yeah. One thing I want to say, though, is everything that Lee said he was going to do,
he did,
including visiting his brother's grave, which I think that's awesome, man. That's why we get along so good, and that's why Renee and Lee are great friends, and you and I became friends, Sean, because we all do what we say what we're going to do. You know?
And then on Monday, I decided I was going to drive back to Texas from Boston. I drove back. I got back yesterday. Afternoon.
Jeez.
So what was the worst part of that drive?
You know what it is? I'm at the age now. It could be the last time I do that drive. So I just enjoyed the whole drive. I love the drive. The worst part was I stayed at a Holiday Inn. Holiday Inn Expresses are really nice, but I stayed at one in the mountains of Pennsylvania.
Oh.
There's nothing nice. There's no such thing as a nice motel in the mountains of Pennsylvania.
Why are you in Pennsylvania?
Huh?
Yeah.
Well,
Why
I had
in Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania. The wrong turn.
No, yeah. Pennsylvania's got some beautiful scenery. It's incredible.
Right.
But it's got the worst. It was literally a traffic jam from one end of Pennsylvania all the way to Ohio. Then when I got to Ohio, the roads got better. Traffic got better. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell's up with Pennsylvania?
That's crazy.
Were you going to do something, Lee, a little while ago? You were going to do something?
See what happened?
Yeah, you guys.
It's that A personality.
I'll be right back. Take care of the show, Renee.
Yeah. Get out of here, kid. Jesus.
Hey, Sean, how about the guy that was taking pictures of himself?
Oh, that was funny. I had to save the picture. Here, you had to do it this way.
Press the swivel camera. Press that button. What?
No, he kept hitting, and it was always pointing at him, and it was funny.
Yeah.
But no, he's looking at Lee and I, Renee. This is what happened. Sean was there. He's looking at Lee and I we're trying to get out of there to get something else done. We're shaking freaking hands for endless
for
time.
half an hour.
and the guy's got the camera like this looking at us, and he's like, oh, I can't see you. And then Sean's like, what are you doing? Oh, no, and Lee's like, let me see that. Well, Lee gets all pissed off, and Lee's looking at us like, no, you got it the wrong way. You got it. So he gives the phone to him again, right? And he's like that with the phone again. He's like, and then he clicks it. He's like, I got it. And then Lee grabs the phone and he looks at it.
It's that guy's
himself. The picture of himself like this. I don't mean to make fun of the guy, but
okay, guys, I'm going to play this. This is me. This is the North End. I want to meet these guys down in. Let me put it this way: I felt safe sitting with these guys at this table, like no one was going to bother us. Here we go.
Sausage. What is this? Washing Guido. This stuff here. I'll be right back. Italian food. I don't know what you got. Not super sad. Pasta, sausage, chicken, and
computer though.
What did you have? What did you have, Damien?
I had the ravioli, the pumpkin ravioli.
And what did you have today?
Polo Parmigiano, but no formaggio, no cheese.
Now, if I show this, you're not going to kill me, right?
You know what? I don't do the cheese because you know why? I'm on a diet.
And look at this. I got some real calamari here. And Chicky's been eyeing and he wants it. But Chicky, you have sausage.
So, I'm going to be honest. I've done a lot of things in my life. I've been everywhere. But I had such a good time for that week. I mean,
yeah. It
just felt nice to meet people, like Chicky and Damien. See that guy Damien with the glasses? He's an MMA fighter.
Tell him, Lee. Tell him about it.
We had a debate one time. I'll never forget what he did to me. I had a debate with him one time, and we got into a big fight online. The next day, I pick up my phone, and there's a picture of my house on it. And underneath it, he writes, "I'm coming to see you."
And he fought in the UFC, guys. It's not like he's just some jabroni.
And the only thing I was thinking, I was like, I'd rather be shot, I'd rather be stabbed than to have those leg kicks they do in the UFC when they hit the side of the leg. No, I don't want one of those. It was fun. And let me see who else is in here right now. Rhett Coons, how you doing? Steven Rogers, Johnny Noodles. Yeah, the owner, the big guy there was Chicky, and the owner crossed his finger when Chicky said. But you know what? Chicky's a nice guy. They're all nice guys. Come on, guys. Did you ever have? How many times you been down to the North End, Joel?
I don't even know, man. I mean, probably back in the day, I was up there. I mean,
Zero.
I've been in the combat zone. I know that.
And the North End of Boston is very busy, but it's fun because You know how like a lot of cities are dying and there's dying businesses?
Oh, yeah.
In the North End, there's no dying businesses. There's tons of people on the street. People are walking everywhere. It's a very impressive. Boston is very impressive. The biggest problem with Boston, it looks like 100 years ago, a bunch of drunken Irishmen made the roads.
Oh, yeah. Cobblestone roads everywhere from what I hear.
Well, the roads are real small too. Like if you're going up near the houses and stuff, they're very small.
I got a
Well, that's
question.
how Philadelphia is.
I got a question for Lee Cole III.
What's that?
How about some stand-up comedy?
Okay, give us some.
No, you got the video, man.
Oh, right away, this guy wants to be famous. Okay,
Okay.
Sean wants. I'm sure Rene would like to see it. But Sean
Yeah, come on, man. Everyone likes funny.
Come on, man.
Okay. Keep talking while I get that too. Please.
Yeah. Just don't click that sexual video I know you got on there, you weirdo. You know there's some weird shit on there.
Yeah, it's probably socks.
The guy with, don't you mean you want the Chinese transgender?
Oh no.
Hey man. Lee,
That's crazy.
Lee, don't be putting no confessions up on there of yourself.
Oh my God. I started to talk about that to the other person.
Uh-oh.
Now that was an ongoing thing with Lee and the other person.
Yeah.
Talking about it. They're preoccupied.
Okay, here we go. This is Joel being introduced to one of his comedies. We're gonna play this guy. So I hope that you sit back and enjoy some comedy. Here we go.
Yeah, don't strike us, Joel.
Bring him up. He is a former pro wrestler, and he's been on the Jerry Springer Show not one, but 2 fucking times. Give it up for the real deal, Joel Davis, ladies and gentlemen. New York City, can I get a woo woo? Woo woo.
And just so you know, this is at Rodney Dangerfield's, ain't it?
That was Rodney Dangerfield's in New York City.
And Rodney Dangerfield's has been there. Well, it was built by Rodney Dangerfield in the 70s.
69.
So, 69. It figures he did it in 69.
President Joe Biden. Here he is. President Joe Biden. Pay attention. There he is. Fellow Americans, we here at down Boulevard. My name is Joel Davis. Thank you. Here we go, baby. Voice on Jerry Springer, I can believe it.
Okay. So, tell us how this Rodney Dangerfield, that's a pretty big thing to go do some comedy at Rodney Dangerfield's.
Yeah, so I broke in November 1st, 2022 in stand-up comedy. But I'd been in different, like I tried out for commercials, Playboy Cologne, Ked Shoes. I did different things like that. I did the Springer Show, of course, and I was in professional wrestling, which is a show too. And then, so what ended up happening was I got into comedy. What's that? The fuck
somebody's got some interference in their back.
Yeah.
Is that socks?
It ain't me.
Yeah, it sucks. So you got some interference coming in.
Yeah, I fixed it.
Okay.
So November 1st, 2022 was my first gig. And, as I moved up a little, up into the ranks, you do open mics, you get no payday. You get 3 to 5 minutes. You get your name in a bucket some nights. You're lucky to get called. And then April this year, I got an opportunity to go out for Victoria Ironstein, who was running the Rodney Dangerfield Club in New York City. I mean, guys like Jerry Seinfeld's been on that stage. Some big names, including Rodney Dangerfield himself. So that was a thrill. And I have some people out in New York City that I'm very friendly with, very close with, because being in pro wrestling, I wrestled out there. I was licensed in New York City at State Athletic Commission in 98 and 99. So I told my friends, I said, hey, listen, I'll be at Rodney Dangerfield Club. They showed up there, and I was third that night, and I had 7 minutes, and gave it a go, man. It was a rush, Lee, to be there because I mean, such a historic comedy club, you know.
Okay.
Right in New York City.
Okay, so Joe, there's something else I want to show of yours too.
Yeah, man. What's that one?
We'll show that in 1 second.
Rene, how you doing up there?
I'm spacing out like I know I do.
Did you smoke some ganja?
Hell yeah. I smoked it, vaped it, ate it. I don't give a shit. It's Saturday. Yeah, I don't know. I have a high tolerance, but I'm known to space out and just let everything just chill. Like I had a question about you. I heard that you wrestled a very big, another famous wrestler. And that particular wrestler that I'm about to name, when I was a kid, I was afraid of him. I was 7 years old in 1984, and he was a big famous guy at that point. King Kong Bundy, I heard. Is that true?
Yeah, man. I've been in the ring with King Kong Bundy 6 or 7 different times in different states. He was famous for the big match against Hulk Hogan at the Pontiac Silver WrestleMania. And I'll tell you something about Bundy. When he hit you with the avalanche, you felt it. And he, last thing you're going to always hear when you're in the ring with Bundy, well, I did anyways, was 5. The 5, you know what I mean? So he was a tough son of a bitch.
Big. I was scared as a kid. I thought he was going to fall on me if I went out to see him wrestle. Yeah, really big.
And he had a little time on the that show Married with Children.
Yeah, that's right.
Here we go, guys.
Oh, there. Oh, that's really cool. Good work, Lee.
I knocked him off.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. Handicap match. Yes.
Joe, you actually knocked him down.
Yeah, man.
Good move.
Look at that mullet.
Didn't last long.
Joel looking like Tatanka right there.
He threw me up. He threw me up here, Rene. Watch this, guys. Watch this chop.
Oh, shit. That'll remove your nipples. Woo. That'll rearrange the pepperonis on your chest.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, you ain't getting up.
So rest in peace, right?
That's right.
So what was it like to wrestle him?
Well, it was tough to wrestle him. I mean, he was so much bigger than me, and sometimes it would be one-on-one, and sometimes they'd call it a handicap match. Like back, you guys remember, like Andre the Giant would take on two wrestlers. Yeah. So they'd put me with somebody else, and it would be usually some schmuck, some bum.
Brett Coons wants to know what year was that match?
That match right there was 1999.
Wow, 1999. And so what year did he leave the WWF?
Sean might be able to answer the question better than I do, but Rene, but I think he left WWF. What was it, the mid or early 90s? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think so. He was making like some appearances in the early 90s, and then he just disappeared.
Yeah.
Because I think he wanted to make more money with Hogan, but they didn't run that enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did the one.
Yeah. To answer that question in detail, how it was like to wrestle Bundy, you knew you weren't getting much with him. He wasn't going to give you much. like I was telling Rene earlier, I've been in the ring with him 7 times in different states. And that match there that Lee just played on the Wrestling with Devil podcast tonight was the only time I knocked him off his feet. And I was surprised, but I think he lost his balance.
Oh,
he would never fall for me.
Oh, so you think
I hit him with I hit him with I was in pretty good shape. I mean, I was in pretty good shape. I had one of those spray tans going on back then.
Yeah.
That wasn't a real. That was how I was sprayed. You know, like the.
So did you hit him with that double axe handle?
I hit him with a double axe handle, but I was. I gave it. I really hit him, and he was. But when he got up, you see how pissed he was?
Yeah, he didn't look too happy.
Hey, as soon as he chopped me, guys, I felt my chest like start to break open.
That was your receipt for that knockdown, man.
Maybe multiple receipts. For
did that give you a different respect for people that took that Ric Flair chop like 10 times in one match?
Well, you know, it's. I already knew what the chop was. You can remember it's 1999. I was 8 years in, so I worked with a lot of guys that had a heavy chop. But Bundy had an extra heavy chop because he was so big. You remember just bringing that back. There's no holding back.
Yeah.
So listen, you've been enjoying yourself your whole life, Joel. Have you ever had a real job?
Lee was a smart ass when he started the podcast, and he's a smart ass. He still is. Lee has not changed a bit.
I do my show like I drive.
No, man, I've had a great journey, guys. I've always tried everything and just went for things. You know what I mean? And gave it my all. I try to make it. I don't like to work for the man. You know what that means? A regular 9 to 5.
Oh yeah, I've always figured out how to get paychecks as easy as possible.
No, you're a smart guy, Rene.
Keep the paychecks coming in. That's all that matters.
Yeah, Brett Kuhn said that was a little bit smaller crowd than WrestleMania 3.
Oh, no shit, Dick Tracy. Thank you, Captain Sherlock.
Jane Perry, how you doing? I thought Lee was going to do comedy. No, we're having a good time here, guys. This is one of those shows I don't even give a shit what we're talking about. We're just having a good time. I got 3 friends here, man. 3 people that I respect and 3 people I enjoy being around. That's not too often, especially in the world of wrestling.
Yeah, Lee don't like nobody. I feel privileged.
What the fuck?
Sean, stop cutting the gas.
Either take that vibrator away from the damn screen, bro. Go clean off that vibrator. I know it smells like tuna fish. The vibrator said, "Fuck you." Did you hear it? It's like, bzz, bzz.
You guys.
Oh, I don't know, but the boxing match, Joshua has been KO'd plenty of times. I'm not. He has Joshua has a glass chin, jaw, and I guess Dubois just hit him on his jaw. Gorilla Monsoon used to call him King Kong Bundy a moving condominium. And unless he's talking about a different WrestleMania 3 wasn't the only time. Okay, yeah, well. When did he pass away, Bundy?
Maybe 10 years ago, right?
Well, how many years ago?
5, 10 years ago. You can't tell anymore.
5, 10 years. That's 5 life years you could be extra living. 5 or 10. It's 5.
Well, you don't know the answer.
No, you're my wrestling expert.
I don't think anybody knows the answer. You have to look that up. I would say closer to 5 years.
I would say around 2020. I would say that's
2019. Brent said.
Okay, I was close.
So, despite his size, he lived a long life.
Yeah, he had complications of diabetes, if I remember right.
In the spring of 2019.
Yeah.
He would always say, one of his sayings he'd always say, you guys are like this behind the scenes. He would say when he was, he's like, fucking real deal Joel Davis again. He'd look at you, he'd talk like that, but voice, he'd say, shit bigger than him.
That's great.
Was he married with kids?
No idea. I never talked to him like that, I know he started as Chris Canyon in the old WWF. He wore the purple gear and he did a lot of the jobs when he started up. And then he had a good run in world class too.
Okay, so what? Someone wants to know what VKM and Diddy doing these days.
The fuck's that got to do with anything?
Well, we got to get into the Diddy conversation a little
Well,
bit.
Yeah.
I'm about to get the fuck out of here with that shit. I don't
That 1,000 bottles of lube, man. That's
Okay,
all I
well,
can think about.
I'm a special guest here.
Okay. Well, we figured that you're into that stuff, so we figured you never had Diddy drag you across the floor and smack you in the head.
You never went to one of them parties for 3 days?
Well, Lee, they didn't call you Lee Freak Off Cole for nothing.
That was the freak off sessions, yeah.
Lee was the original Freak Off, the white version.
Do you think Lee got beat up in the hallway too, or what?
I laid there and let him beat me.
Get back in the damn room.
I laid there. I put lotion all over my body and told him to beat me.
You know how many times?
In.
You know how many times Lee told me he didn't have a fat ass?
And what did you say when you see my ass?
What I said, I don't want to look at your ass.
No, you said, Lee, you didn't lie. You don't have a fat ass.
I did. I said, Lee, your ass is very slender.
He's got a flat white guy ass.
Hey, do you have those gifts I gave you? The Jacoby Ellsbury game used back in the
Yeah, I sure do. I'm going to put them up behind me, but not in this room because I'm building another studio in my empty room. And I'm going to put that on some shelves behind me. Wait until you guys see the way my new studio is going to be set up. It's going to be really nice. It's going to be a lot better than what Rene has behind him.
Yeah, I'm going to surprise you with some shitty stuff next time. You watch. You watch.
So, Sean, I always took you as a kind of a shy guy, and everybody knows, I interviewed you in the very beginning. And did you ever think that we were going to meet up and just like that out of the blue?
He was hoping you wouldn't.
Not really. I didn't think. I didn't think we would meet up. I figured it'd be just you're in Texas, I'm in Pennsylvania, so I didn't think that would ever happen.
Now, can I just chime in quickly? Now, Sean, why don't you share with Lee and Rene and the viewing, listening audience, Sean, how you drove me around the block 14 fucking times.
Oh my God.
Because you were lost.
That was the
Sean
GPS.
drove me around. I don't know what I said, dude, what are you doing, man?
That was the GPS. It kept going around, telling us to go around in circles like 500 times.
Hey, Joel, he's the guy that ends up in like a freaking boating dock, and he's like, the GPS said make a right.
I'm like, Sean, it's right
Joel
there.
knows.
I'm like, Sean, there it is. Sean's like, no, but the GPS says go left.
Okay,
It did. We ended up getting there though.
Yeah, just in time, man. I was like, that's why I should have took fucking Uber, man. You stressed me out. We're driving around the neighborhood like 14 times. People are yelling, running in front of the car. You're stopping quick. You're like, I don't know where this place is. I'm like, dude, it's 5 minutes from where we were coming. It took us like 8.
Gary says you guys are nuts. But you know what, Gary? If you were there, you would have had a good time with us.
Hey, did he take you to Amish country, Joel? Is that why? Were you guys out
No.
there with the Amish?
We weren't we're in Boston. It was horrible driving up there.
It was. No, you did a good job, Sean. You did.
It's a terrible place to drive, man.
Oh, it is. I couldn't believe it. At least I got to see Fenway Park.
Oh, that's so.
You never got to the firehouse, though.
Well, that's a good
I didn't get there, but I got to Fenway.
Sean, tell us the story about how that Fenway Park thing went down, because you went to Fenway Park before you did anything. Tell us.
Yeah, well, I saw tickets for $10, so I'm like, I might as well get them before I fly into Boston. So I got the tickets. So I fly into Boston. I get my rental car, and I'm like, shit, the game starts at 7. I'm landing at like 7 o'clock. I get to the hotel at 8. They're like, oh, you can walk to the game. It's only a mile up the road. I'm like, I don't think so. So I got an Uber after I dropped my stuff off. Got there in the 5th inning, and it was a good time. And then I made the mistake of walking back, which took me an hour to walk back. Some mile that was.
That's stupid.
And I had to stop and ask the Boston cop if I was going the right way, because GPS was telling me to go back towards the stadium, and he's like,
You were using a GPS walking?
yeah, because I didn't know, I couldn't find the street.
Just look at the map once and just put your fucking phone away. What's wrong with you?
Sean uses the GPS when he goes grocery shopping.
No,
I uses the GPS to go take a shit in the bathroom.
I was just gonna say that. I want to see what door comes up. Give me a break. Let me see this.
Oh, you got jokes now. I see how it is. I thought we were friends.
1 second. I gotta read these guys. Baby Gangster Dick, world's most diabolical carver. I met Trish. Dude, that's some name, man. You gotta change that shit. Okay, I met Trish Stratus once. She hugged me close. When her boobs slightly touched my arms, I jacked off every night.
I'm gonna get out of here, man. I've had enough of this.
Why are you always looking? We're having a good time, and you're ready to leave.
No, but look at this. I said I'd give you an hour. We're over an hour. Now we get this guy talking about.
Come on, what are you? You ain't no movie star. Come on.
What the fuck?
Let me tell you
Rob Van Dam gave us almost 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Well, Rob got really stoned with us and didn't know where he was. We were lit.
He's not RVD. He's the real deal.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's the difference. His time means everything.
Okay. Laura Rock, has Joel done stand-up comedy with Mick Foley or Dolph Ziggler?
No, I haven't. I know Foley's been doing comedy, though. Cactus Jack. I know he has. But we've never been on the same comedy show. Good question, though. And Ziggler, I didn't know he was even in comedy at all, to be honest with you.
Did you ever think that, you would be doing comedy? Is that something you always wanted to do, even when you wrestled?
Yeah, it was my second love after pro wrestling,
When's the first time you did a comedy show that you were like a significant one?
Well, when I was 10 years old in 5th grade, I played Rocky Balboa in a play, and the kids loved it. And I had like one line in the play, and the kids loved it, and the teachers loved it. I remember that still when I was 10 years old, and they got a lot of laughs out of it. And I thought that was awesome. So yeah, it goes back then. It goes all the way back to that time. It was a talk show, a game show, and there were 3 contestants, and there was a talk show host on the stage, 5th grade. And the question was, in mathematics, what do 2 lines running across each other called in mathematics? And I was Rocky Balboa. And my only line in the whole freaking play was, when they asked that question about 2 lines in mathematics, I just said, telephone lines. And they said, no, they beeped, and I had to go. That was it.
Hey, guys, I want to ask Sean and you both a question. Now, without talking about what we were doing, because we're not allowed to, I just want to, how professional do you think that setup was that we were at? And what did you like about it the most? Starting with you, Sean.
Oh, it was very professional. What did I like the most of it? About it?
The food.
The hosts.
Yeah, well, they bought us some yuppie food menus, and
I didn't like that.
We also want hamburgers, and I'm not going to eat this yuppie shit.
Yeah, I tell people straight up, man. I eat white trash food, meat, and fish. Put it out. Give it to me. Give me some macaroni and cheese.
And Joe, what did you like about it? You've been around the block a few thousand times. What did you like?
Well, honestly, Lee, to be honest with you, if the answer is a 2-part question, very professional. Very professional. And I liked the consistency of what they said was going to be done, will be done. And just the professionalism all around. And I felt the second day in particular, both days, but I felt comfortable with the setting, and I felt that we were treated correctly and we were treated with respect.
Okay, I got a big inch dick, says Shane or Sean, whatever is the only one that ain't bald-headed. Keep it up, G.
What are these people?
No, I'm going bald.
What are they, all baked, smoking ganja?
Oh, yeah. Hey, listen, they come here because they know that Renee's a stoner and they want to hang out.
There's like 9 people that are stoned that come just for me, Joel. 9.
I bet they do.
I don't know.
Why?
Who
I
knows?
got to step off.
You're a popular guy.
What's that?
I'll come back. I have to get dinner.
Okay, well, you
Don't
My
worry, he'll
kids.
be on another 2 hours.
All right, I'll come back. I just
Yeah.
have to get my kids dinner.
Yeah.
All right,
okay.
we want to report on what you fed those
People. That's Sean. Good
Pizza.
guy.
All right, smart.
I
That's
would
what
tell
I'm
you.
making for
Nice,
mine.
Sean.
I
All
would
right.
tell you to go to his YouTube channel, but he doesn't have one.
No, I don't.
Remember, Lee, before and after, me and Sean.
Yeah.
Remember those commercials?
Love
the
you,
before
brother.
and after pictures?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Nice seeing you, Sean.
Nice seeing you.
Nice to meet you, Sean.
And I'll
Take
I'll
care.
talk to you guys.
Don't do nothing I wouldn't do tonight when you go on the town drinking.
Oh yeah.
That's a long list. That's a long
I know. Don't
list.
do nothing I wouldn't do. There's not much I wouldn't do.
Yeah.
No, it's more or less Lee won't do.
Well,
Obviously, he didn't want to come out and hang
Sean's
out with us.
another one with an interest in life. You've been a cop. You've been a lifelong military man. You've had a pretty interesting life too, Sean.
Yeah, I
He
did.
should be on next week. He should have his own show.
Yeah, you should talk about, you know, have you ever pulled people over? Were you out there on the road a lot when you were a cop?
Yeah.
Oh, you could do so many shows about pulling people over.
Did you ever
Come
see the
on.
movie? Did you ever see the movie The Bad Lieutenant?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I
Is
did.
that you?
Yeah,
Is
that
that
was
you,
Sean.
Bob?
No, that was not me.
What a great movie that was.
That was not me. That was John Travolta.
Big
There you
difference.
go.
Okay,
No,
Sean. I'll talk to you in a bit.
All right,
Sean
I'm
looks like an old John Candy.
No, he doesn't. Sean's in better shape.
I know, he likes the joke.
You, Joe, I'll get you back. It was good.
Yeah.
All right, I'll talk to you guys in a little bit.
Okay, take care, my man.
All right, man.
You'll never see
Hey,
him.
that was great. I never see. This is what I like about this show. We never expected Sean to show up on this show. I would. Matter of fact, if someone said to me the last person that will come up on this show, I would say Sean.
Well,
As long as you don't have like little baby Snake on.
Oh, what happened to him?
Whatever happened to him?
Baby Snakes. He's either in prison or he's in the.
Something happened to him because he was on every fucking week with
Yeah,
you.
dude.
Yeah.
He just, yes.
And I even sent him an email, no reply.
No.
I sent him an email too. Yeah, no, he didn't.
No, he's in the
reply.
afterlife or he's in jail.
Oh man, well now he's Ghost Baby Snake, so hopefully he's
Ghost
doing
Baby
all right.
How about that? How about that other guy you had? The one that they called. You called. He had a name called. What a numbnuts, Joe.
Oh, what the fuck, man! Is your goal to have my phone exploding? Is that what your goal is? Because I think
I don't want us to get canceled.
No. You won't get canceled. I'll just, my
Leave
phone.
it out.
No,
appreciate
listen,
having
he was a big part of the show. You didn't enjoy him when he was on here?
I don't even know who the fuck the guy is. I've seen him a couple times.
I thought you tuned in just for him.
Nah, yeah, give me a fucking break.
I thought he was like a classmate or something.
Huh?
Nah, I ain't gonna say nothing negative. I don't know the guy.
No, we don't say nothing.
I just think he was plastic. Okay, in my opinion. You know what plastic means?
Oh
Fake.
yeah, I
Fake
know.
it, That's why I knew it was gonna be you and Rene, and Lee and I became good friends, and when I already seen Rene on the show, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be on it. If I don't want to be on something, I'm not gonna fucking be on it. If you had him,
and here's what it comes down to: when I was on the mob genre, I got crucified in the beginning. Everybody was attacking me, but when I left the mob genre, I had one of the top shows, and then I come here, and people, we are 666 subscribers away from 10,000.
Yep.
10,000, and we got those 10,000 in 5 months.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, I think it was like 4,000 when I got here, man. It's been a rough ride.
And that's why we got all those subscribers, is because Rene, all the women,
all
women.
We have good chemistry, and then every once in a while, when we argue, that people love that shit.
Yeah, but it's just amazing when you can do that. It's like people don't.
Well, you cover a lot of different topics. I'll just be honest with you. You cover a lot of topics. You bring in special guests, on a different level. Like different guests, and you're not afraid to tell the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's be honest. You guys don't give a shit. You say it the way it is, and that's what people want to know.
Because we've both been attacked in other genres, and we know we've seen a lot of shit already.
Yeah. Mikey Griggs said, "Just buy them, Lee." To 666.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, right.
Well, what I find fascinating about it, though, is when I was in the mob genre, I learned so much that I was able to bring it here.
Yeah.
And the first thing you do is, like, I used to get scared and nervous when people attacked me and stuff. It used to bother me. Now it doesn't bother me because you need your haters. Joe, you know that. You
do.
need your haters.
Well, if you have haters, you're doing something right. And one thing I just want to mention before I go is I liked how Rene had your back. I think it was last week when I was watching the live here. And for all the listeners, you can listen. Don't fuck with these people, okay? Because we're gonna see what's going on. Someone's gonna stand up and see what's going on, and we're gonna cut you off. And Rene was seeing that idiot, Mrs. Phillips, whatever his name is, that guy there. You know, I don't know.
We don't
need to mention his name. But anyway, someone was talking shit, and Rene said, "I'll let you address it, Lee." Remember that? And you addressed it, and you got rid of him. You don't need that shit on your talk. You got a lot of good people that like to be on your talk. You know what I mean?
We're good at getting rid of people. We got each other's back. Sometimes Lee will be busy with a guest and he doesn't see the chat, and I'll see it, and I'll be like, "Lee, take a look at the chat. Look at that person," because I don't want to whack the person out until I get an okay. You know what I mean? I don't like blocking people, but
you're just showing respect to Lee because
absolutely
he created it. Absolutely,
he created the show. This is it. He created it originally, and I came on board. And I respect the rules. We have certain rules here.
You're a mainstay on the podcast. It's you two together make the podcast, but Lee's the original.
Yep.
Yeah. But I get that, but I'm just complimenting you guys, saying
thank you so much. I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah.
It's nice to get compliments.
And you know what?
Any other questions, Lee? Or I'm going to get the fuck out of here.
No, Joe. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a call. Remember we were talking about that thing about replacing Rene. I'll give you.
Oh, it's happening, people. Don't fuck around. I'm one fuck up away, guys.
No, but thank you for having me, Lee, and thank you, Rene. It was a great time. A lot of good laughs.
Great to meet you, brother.
Great to meet you.
Nice time tonight. You take care of yourself.
You take care, brother. Bye-bye now.
And that's Joe, people, and take care, Joe. We'll see him back on the show again.
What a cool guy, man. What a really cool guy.